husband and wife, partners in life, family and business.
Through the ups and downs we've overcome, God as a witness.
From the household of faith to real estate to what's happening now.
We've got something to talk about. So for the next few moments, please allow us
to bring you something you can feel.
It's time for the real talk about real life, nothing but real. Wanna tell the truth, it's on the side. Let's be real. Join in, tell your friends, 'cause every now and then we all need a reality check
With the Adolphs.
Welcome to today's episode of Reality Check with the Adolphs. In today's episode, we're talking about, it's all about your finances.
Yes, your finances. A lot of people, when you talk about your finances, a lot of people are kind of weary and leery of giving that type of information because it's personal and sensitive. Mm-hmm. But at some point, when you want to apply for any type of credit, especially a home loan, you're going to have to give that up.
Yep, exactly. We decided to do an episode on finances because Willie and I have been entrepreneurs, self-employed individuals and couple for the past 22 years. Yes. Oh. And I wish there was someone to hold our hand to make everything go the right way. We were blessed by God to know that we needed to have our business separate from our personal life from the beginning. So we did do that, but just kind of like getting everything in order and connecting the pieces, we couldn't get that piece, and especially when purchasing a home.
Right, because we actually had to take, some time. We just thought, okay, if we make some money, we can buy a home. Mm-hmm. There were a lot of pieces that needed to be explained to us because of, the stuff that we went through, because our credit wasn't really all that great. We tried to apply for a home loan. At the beginning, we were told that, hey, you can get it. And then moving forward, we put in a 30-day notice. Mm-hmm. And next thing you know, we go by and say, hey, we haven't heard anything. What can we, what's going on? And we was told that we wasn't able to get a home loan. So not only did we lose the house that we put earnest money down that we didn't get back because we didn't have a real estate agent, we lost our apartment because they already sold it because we already put in a 30-day notice. So those are some of the things that we wish we knew back then, the things that we know now. And that's why we're in this, to help you, to help others, not to go through the same tragedy and, carelessness of trying to know the steps of buying a home.
Yeah, and I think the fear of not asking was a problem as well, because that put our family in jeopardy and made us homeless. We actually went to live with my mother-in-law.
My mommy. Hi, Mom.
And then from there, we rented a house without counsel, got kicked out of there because they decided they wanted their house back. Immediately had to move our family of, at that time, 6. Because we had, the twins were just born.
And then the other
Cole,
2.
Yeah. The other 2.
That's 4, then me and you,
and
that's
we had
6.
to move into a 2-bedroom apartment. And then from there, we went into a rental home. And then from there, we was like, we're going to learn this. And we did. We became mortgage loan officers in 2003 and went into the real estate realm in 2005. On today's episode, we wanted to really have some professionals come in and speak to you about buying a home loan. We have Angela, Martin, and Toi Parnell. They will be here after the commercial to talk about mortgages and getting your finances together.
Hi, this is Willie Adolphs of the Adolphs Group at Equity House Properties. I'm here today to talk to you about home purchasing. A lot of times people want to know, where do we start? When do we start? How much do we need to save? What does our credit score need to be like? Can I really move in now? And the answer is yes. The thing is that you want to get pre-approved first before you even go house shopping, because what you wouldn't want to happen is that you find the perfect home, but the bank won't qualify you for your mortgage. So always get pre-approved first. So find a good lender, which we have a lot of resources for you on that. Second, you want to make sure that anything that's on your credit, if it's something that you can work with, let's work with it, because everything on your credit, it depends on what it is for each mortgage company. And third, once you get that pre-approval, now it's time to go house shopping. Now, Willie, what about the money, the down payment and things like that? Well, they have a lot of programs that's out there. So based on your credit will depend on the down payment assistance that you can receive. But we do have a lot of resources and a lot of things that can help you. And everyone with the Adolphs Group will hold you by your hand and walk you through the whole process. So you can contact us at www.theadolphsgroup.com or 281-451-7087. And remember, when you have will, you have a way.
Welcome back to Reality Check with the Adolphs. As I said before the commercial, I was going to bring two special people who are professional experts in their field. Today we wanted to bring Angela, the mortgage diva Martin, and Toi, Apply with Toi Parnell. They are here today to discuss about getting your finances together for a mortgage loan. Thank you, ladies, for coming.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Okay.
So, when we talk about mortgages, everybody says it's hard to get a mortgage. What do you say about that?
It's hard because you don't ask. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. Simple.
They say Google and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the Google experts are not. They're not experts. So yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of people have a misconception about mortgages. Like you said, they don't ask, or they don't know, or they listen to Uncle Junebug.
Right.
Or they listen to somebody else's scenario, and everybody's scenario is different that I had to learn myself. What is your, for you guys, for you ladies, what is the biggest obstacles that you see with clients?
Well, for me, I see that they're not really prepared. So I take an approach of getting them a mortgage plan, because I feel that everybody, just like you just said, they have a different situation. So I take whatever's going on with them, and then we come up with a plan of action so they can get funded. So, because a lot of people think that they can't, like Toi said, they didn't ask. So we get
So when you say funded, what does that mean?
That means that the bank has funded their loan and given the sellers the money that they're asking to purchase their house.
Awesome.
Yes.
You get the keys. So hear that. If you don't fund, you don't get your keys.
No. That's the object. That's where you want to be. That's the end result.
Right.
Okay. So as a loan officer, I know that you have a lot of pieces and obstacles behind the scene. So you have clients that give you stuff. What do you say when, what is kind of like the process? Because everybody says, well, I gave it to her and they're telling me to give it to them again. And I just sent it to them.
Yeah, it's a lot of things that it's a very meticulous job. Everything has to be in order. So when we ask for income documents, we're talking about, your pay stubs that you receive. We're talking about your W-2s that you get at the end of the year, not your tax returns. We don't need those unless you're self-employed, which, she can go more in detail with that. But that's really upfront, because we need to know that you can afford what you're trying to buy. So we need to look at your spending habits. We look at the bank statements and things like that, just so we can see if there's, some things that we need to concentrate on. So that's what we need up front.
So you say spending habits. So I know in the past, I eat a lot.
So I want you to eat.
So when you see my bank statement, you're going to see food.
Exactly.
Food.
That's okay.
One
That's
grocery
okay.
bill, but
That's
food.
But let me tell you what the problem is. That NSF.
Yes.
From you getting so much food. So when you're living paycheck to paycheck, if we see that you're insufficient before each one of your paychecks, we know you're living beyond your means.
But what if I let my cousin borrow the money and they?
If it's sporadic and if it's a one-off thing, it can be explained. You can do a letter of explanation.
Okay.
And then that'll be fine with that. But if it's a habitual type of thing and they can see it on the multiple bank statements that they get, then that's going to be a problem.
Okay. Now I heard you also mention about self-employed. As you know, self-employment is on the rise. So.
Which is awesome.
So what I want to know is, I have someone that's self-employed. How would they get a mortgage?
So there are a few options with self-employed individuals. The main issue that we usually have with them is their tax returns, because they tend to write off everything. And I always tell my clients who are self-employed, you have to plan to purchase your house, because you have to know, hey, if you want to afford a house, which you probably truly can, at a certain amount of money per month, then you have to make sure that you're paying taxes on that amount. So you may have to pay taxes on $100,000 to purchase a home that's $300,000.
But that's my down payment.
Yeah.
Those are some of the things that I know that the clients probably come back at you with.
And you do have those buyers that didn't plan ahead.
Right.
So if they didn't plan ahead, then they have to go that other route where you're going to have to put up some money. Because at that point, we need to look at your bank statements for 12 months, and we had to look at your how you deposit the history and things like that, and you're gonna put more money down at that point.
Right.
You can get it. Self-employed people can definitely buy a home. You just gotta put up more money for it.
Okay, so with the self-employed, what if they do, for instance, make $100,000, but they have a lot of money in the bank, but they write off, say, half of it?
Well, see, your qualifying income is going to be the income that you pay taxes on. So
Okay.
if your gross income is $100,000 and you're only paying taxes on $30,000, then that is what you're going to be qualified for a mortgage on, is $30,000.
So that means
We stand
And
where we're
usually-
at.
we're staying with mom and dad.
Well,
stand right where we're at.
the net income of, which is where self-employed individuals have an issue with, is because their net income, even if it's $30,000 or $40,000, you have to think 30% of that is what you're going to have to pay back to the IRS. So
Right.
that could be, if it's $100,000, that's $30,000, and most people they don't want to do that.
And that's why you go to a tax professional and not just your sister sometimes, because you mess yourself up doing that.
Some people have the understanding, because they'll tell us, well, no, I make the money, I make $100,000, or I make this, and you're like, no, but you only pay taxes on $50,000. Yeah. So.
Man, you ladies have a lot of, we could be here for a long time.
really.
And I do understand, because there's so many programs and so many pieces for each one, because every file is different.
That's why you need your
yes.
home buyer's plan.
Yes.
Yes.
Just because the person right next door who has a similar
They tell us.
situation or similar size home, it's not your deal. It's not your situation, because you are a different person, different lifestyle, different everything.
And you have a
People
different
need to
debt to
remember
income
that.
ratio.
Yes.
You have a so
Yes.
Different credit
what's
score,
on your
different
credit is not on
everything.
there. So it's just a lot of different pieces to it. That we see, our main job as a loan officer is we have to apply the law of mortgage to your life. So we have to make it structure a loan. You have to be good at structuring loans or the whole financial situation to the borrower's life. Otherwise, you can't get them along.
Man.
Yeah.
It's like you have to be a Picasso, but in the mortgage world,
Yeah.
you have to paint a pretty picture for the underwriter.
I can
Yeah.
paint pictures now.
We got
No, we keep you right here. You don't need to do nothing extra.
Hey, I got this. I can. I'll
None
paint-
extra.
And I'll use my
Ladies,
good eye.
Ladies, how do we get in contact with you guys? Because on the next season, we want to bring you back and get more in depth on different types of loans.
Right.
So for right now, how do people get in contact with you?
Well, my website is www.applywithtoi.com.
And mine is mortgageloansbyangela.com.
Man, we really appreciate you ladies coming on and giving that wealth of nuggets of how to purchase a home and, you know, a little ins and outs.
And keeping it real. We appreciate that.
Yes, that's what you get.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that part. We will go back into the actual loan process, but we will make sure that you get in contact with Angela and Toi, and we'll see you back on Reality Check with the Adolphs.
Hi, this is Willie Adolph of the Adolph Group at Equity House Properties. I'm here today to talk to you about home purchasing. You know, a lot of times people want to know, where do we start, when do we start, how much do we need to save, what our credit score need to be like, can I really move in now? And the answer is yes. The thing is that you want to get pre-approved first before you even go house shopping, because what you wouldn't want to happen is that you find the perfect home, but the bank won't qualify you for your mortgage. So always get pre-approved first. So find a good lender, which we have a lot of resources for you on that. Second, you want to make sure that anything that's on your credit, if it's something that you can work with, let's work with it, because everything on your credit, you know, it depends on what it is for each mortgage company. And third, once you get that pre-approval, now it's time to go house shopping. Now, Willie, what about the money, the down payment and things like that? Well, they have a lot of programs that's out there. So based on your credit will depend on the down payment assistance that you can receive. But we do have a lot of resources and a lot of things that can help you. And everyone with the Adolph Group will hold you by your hand and walk you through the whole process. So you can contact us at www.theadolphgroup.com or 281-451-7087. And remember, when you have will, you have a way.
The Adolphs Group at Equity House Properties. We provide residential, commercial, leasing apartment locating. We provide consulting on home buying, home selling, and credit restoration. We help with private investments through All Faith Investment Corporation. Contact us now, the Adolphs Group at Equity House Properties. We make real estate your reality.
It's alright, let's be with. Join in, tell your friends, 'cause every now and then we all need a reality check with the Adolphs.
Welcome back to Reality Check with the Adolphs. And oh my goodness, wasn't that an amazing segment?
It really was.
I mean, Angela and Toi, they did that. And we wanted to expand on the actual, what does it take when you start, I want to get a home. What do I do?
Exactly, because like I said, there's a lot of myths out there. A lot of people don't know. First thing they say, my credit. So we would suggest that, you know, credit would be one of the first things that you kind of look at. Well, you can go to annualcredit.com to get a free report, but it won't give you the scores. It definitely will give you what's on your credit, and there's other tools out there that can give you free credit reports and with the scores and stuff like that.
And then free credit monitoring. Willie and I are a part of a credit restoration company. But me personally, I also use Credit Karma. I don't really pay attention to the scores, but I tell you what, I get those dings. If somebody's gonna pull my credit or I get a credit increase, Credit Karma gonna let me know.
And
What's that company that
doesn't mean to spend more.
No, I can get another credit card. They always have suggestions.
So
let's be serious about that.
Okay,
If
so-
they do that
Right.
when you have like, even your scores are still under 600, they be like, ooh, perfect odds of getting a credit card.
Well, the thing is with that, I'm not saying not to get it, but there can be too much credit. And you don't really want too much credit especially if you don't know how to manage the first credit card or 2 credit cards. You have to take your time and manage those correctly, because if you don't, you're going to end up hurting yourself more than helping yourself.
Especially when you're trying to get a house.
House, car, job, anything now.
That's right.
Yes,
That's right.
because if your credit is not really lined up to whatever and whoever you're trying to apply for, you're not going to get it. And that's even for rental properties.
Okay, so I'm going to be the good guy. I have good credit. I've been at my job for 2 years.
Okay.
And I've lived in an apartment for 4 years. I want to get into a house. What do I do, Willie?
Well, what you consider good, first we would suggest to talk to a professional loan mortgage person to actually see what's on your credit, because what you may consider good may not be the criteria. Or if it is good, you might have other issues underlying that as well. As the loan officer says, a DTI, debt to income, that may be too high for you, even though you have outstanding credit, but you have to stay within the guidelines.
Okay, so someone like Angela and Toy, we can get in contact with them and then they'll tell us what to do?
Correct. That's basically what we would do, is talk to them, and what they would do is actually put a blueprint, a map, something, a system. What can we do to get started? First thing is, okay, your credit is good, but your debt ratio is a little too high. You may need to pay this down or pay this off, or actually just take stuff out of your name, because, and when I say take it out of your name, I mean literally like pay it off.
Wait, so if I do that, then will my credit score go down?
Well, depends. And when you pay stuff off, your scores do tend to drop just a little bit sometimes, but you're going to get that reward of it boosting back up. But it's also going to be based on all your other activities, the length of your credits, the amount that you are utilizing, and how long you actually have credit. Because even though people may just get a credit card, that doesn't mean their score is going to jump up. Just paying it on time doesn't really increase big jumps and leaps like a lot of people do. And then when you have stuff, people I hear all the time, well, within 7 years, it's going to fall off.
Yeah.
No, it don't just fall off. You actually have to request those things off. So when you're looking at your credit, you have to really analyze your credit, look at it, read it, find out what's going on with it, then start calculating a lot of the things. People with high balances on their credit cards, you want to get them down to under 30%. So there's so many different ways of obtaining credit and restoring your credit and building your credit. So just because you have good credit, there's still some things behind the scenes, because was you married? Did you go through a divorce? Do you have any bankruptcies? Those are some of the things, even though you have good scores, you can still have those problems.
Okay, so we got all of that taken care of.
Okay.
The next step is talk to a real estate agent, and that's where we come in. Willie and I are real estate agents. Well, I'm a real estate broker, and Willie is a real estate agent. But we do work together under the Adolphs Group at Equity House Properties. And at this point, after you've spoken to a mortgage loan officer, you at that point know the amount of house that you're qualified for, you know the amount of monthly payment, and your monthly payment would be your mortgage payment, the insurance, the principal, interest, insurance, and tax amount. And you might not want to pay the taxes with your mortgage payment, but that's going to be calculated and suggested in the amount of home that you qualify for. So once you get that, you need to make sure that you're ready, because at that point, the real estate agent is going to take over and say, okay, you know what you qualify for. You kind of know what area you want. Let's sit down and see what type of house that's going to fit your needs.
And that's exactly right, because what you don't want to do is find a house and you can't qualify for it. But aren't you the real estate agent? Can't you negotiate it down?
Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness.
So, yes, there is a such thing as negotiating, but you got to be realistic about your negotiations. Because if you're not realistic about it, you're gonna lose the bid, the offer.
Yeah, and that's basically with the market and everything out there. COVID and coronavirus and the political range and change of last year of 2020 kind of put a twist on the mortgage market. But what we do want to encourage you is to get with a real estate professional, to know your credit, and be ready to buy a house, because this could be the year for you.
Exactly, because we have a lot of resources. You can definitely reach us at www.theadolphgroup.com or 281-451-7087, and we can definitely get you connected to the right person if it's not one of us. We actually have a team of agents that can help you.
Awesome. So make sure that you get in contact with the Adolph Group, because we make reality. We make real estate your reality.
Because
and
if you have will, you have a way. My name is Will. So we look forward to hearing from you, seeing you, and helping you with your next home.
And thank you for joining us on this episode of It's All About Your Finances with Reality Check with the Adolphs.
Husband and wife, partners in life, family and business.
Through the ups and downs, we've overcome. God as a witness.
From the household of faith to real estate to what's happening now.
We've got something to talk about. So